Hey folks, Adam Brian Dada here with the Lower Reward video series. I've gotten some good feedback from many of you, especially those of you who have been listening or reading or just watching for many years and haven't really contemplated what I mean by lower reward and what the possibilities are for the outcome of it. Making that decision to aim for a lower reward lifestyle. So these videos that are going up slowly as I get my rhythm and as I get my energy level together and figure out what's the best way to explain what it is that I'm after, they're coming much faster now, much more consistently. But I do need your questions. And I do need your debate topics. These are conversations with myself that I'm sharing, but I want you involved in listening and giving me feedback so you can create your own conversations with yourself. So one of the things that I came across recently from quite a bunch of people is, how do we train ourselves to believe that the outcome is going to be good? A lot of people say, well, sure, if you live like a monk, you're going to live healthier, you're going to live longer, you're going to have more money. But as I've mentioned in previous episodes, that's not my goal. My goal is not having more money. My goal is not living longer. My goal is not necessarily living healthier. My goal, which has been the case for over 10 years, is to live without having to do anything particular on any given day, but live well. And I do live very well. I live better now with less money than I did 20 years ago when I was a millionaire, which I no longer am in the same way. I live healthier today at 40, almost 50, than when I was almost 18. I would say the contentedness of what I have going on in my life is so awe-inspiring to me that it's impossible to tell you if it'll be worth it. Because my goals are different than yours. Just like my goals today are different than my goals were a month ago. When I work toward a new goal or a new milestone, and I build those contingencies in place, and I build those options, and whatever those options might be, I do them because I know that I'm going to be contented with any of them. Will I be happy with any of them? All of them? Of course not. But happiness isn't always the goal in life. Happiness isn't even the primary goal in life unless you're a consumer. Unless you are an addict, happiness is not the goal. Contentedness is boring for most people. When they finish the day at work and get paid and have money in the bank, do they sit back and take a deep breath and sigh and say, wow, I'm at a great place right now. I finished my work for the week. I got paid. I have money in the bank. And I'm just going to relax here and smile and feel that little bit of joy saying I've completed something good. I've reached a destination and I'm just going to pause. They don't. They get home, they're exhausted, and the first thing they do is, I have money in the bank, what can I spend it on? Or I have a weekend ahead of me, what can I spend all my time on? Because I'm bored. Often that means to me that whatever it is you did all week long was not really that accomplished. Maybe you made money for your boss. Maybe you worked 40 hours during the week, but you spent so much time on email and texting and social media that you only really accomplished 4 hours of actual work for your boss, even though he paid you for 40. Maybe you hate your job and you wish that you could work on your passions, whatever those might be. Reaching the sense of contentment and that ability to actually bask in your own comfort has always been something that I thought many people would like, but I can't sell it to them. It's not an interesting end product. When people see me relaxed and not really wanting to do anything, either they think I'm lying, or they think I'm a lazy bum, or they think that life isn't fair, that I've gotten all of this opportunity and they don't, even though they're smarter, more educated, work harder, have better resources. And when I tell a lot of people, what about just kicking back? I don't mean kicking back and smoking a blunt and putting on some tunes. I mean kicking back. What's it like to not do anything for you? And a lot of people don't have an answer to that because they can't do it. They can't even do it for 15 minutes. Turning off everything, pausing the daydreams, getting rid of the stresses of debt and what you owe others in terms of time commitment or something you've promised to do. They can't turn it off. There's always something going on. Oftentimes, we get into these crazy repeating cycles of lack of comfort because we're so invested in our consumerism. We bought that bigger house that always needs maintenance. Always. We bought that RV or that boat or that fancy car. It always needs something to be done. Always. It's constant. We bought all these great toys that we have around the house, and they always need to be dusted and checked on and secured. And there's always something nicer out there. So instead of selling the one we're not using, we buy another one that we're not going to use. And now we've got two. We become addicted to our own captors that we spent our life up to now procuring. And we do that in every way. We do that in politics. We even do that in the bands we're fans of. The minute they go on tour, we're excited. We got to save up the $400 to go see them. We got to dress right for it. Got to find out what friends are going. Are we going to take Uber so we could drink? We create slavery. We create captivity because we don't want to aim for a moment of comfort, a moment of contentment. Instead, we need that high. We need that joy. We need that dopamine rush. We need that serotonin to keep us feeling alive, but we can't take a break. We can't take a moment to just say, wow, I've done so well today. I've done so well this week. Maybe I didn't reach my top contingency, my top option, my top destination, my top milestone, but I've reached one of them. I remember cleaning out a garage of my buddies not that long ago, and after a grueling weekend, it was Sunday night, 4 p.m., 5 p.m., and he still wanted to go do something because that sense of accomplishment that he had wasn't enough. Even though I helped him get rid of a ton of stuff that was just occupying his brain constantly. So he wanted to do more. He wanted to go out. He wanted to go party. And I was like, wow, we just accomplished an amazing thing. Can't we just sit back and relax? Maybe have a beer. You can celebrate this one, sure. But does everything success-oriented need a celebration? Or does every failure need to be replaced with a period of addictive happiness? It's hard for me to sell contentment and comfort because I have yet, after 20 years of researching this, I have yet to figure out why does my mind work with it today? Why didn't it work with it 7 years ago? And why can't I figure out the trigger for what allows a mind to bask in self-confident contentment? And I don't know. It's not really a lesson here as much as it is a conversation of something I'm still battling every day, all the time, when I make new friends to go hang out with. Why can I go to a beautiful, practically empty beach with a friend, with a girlfriend, with a client, with an investor? And why am I the one who can just relax? It's lazy, sure, but it's a moment of respite. It's a time for me to say thank you to my past self. I'm going to pay you back for all you've done by not doing anything, by not taking on new responsibilities, by not working toward new milestones or new goals or even thinking about it, by not focusing on the stresses that we focus on every moment of every day. Not health issues, not society's problems all the time. Just to take a moment or an hour or an evening or even an entire weekend or week and just be comfortable, just be contented and not be so consumer focused. And yet, most people can't do it. Most people will come to a beach like this and they will go home a week later and be exhausted, be absolutely exhausted, worn out. They'll feel older. They'll feel more disengaged after spending thousands of dollars. They'll be heavier, more inflammation, worse hormonal imbalances. Part of it is consumer addiction. We are expected to act a certain way. The only way to prove we're celebrating is by spending money, acquiring some new consumer habit. The only way we show off is by having brands that we can brag about. I saw a really pretty girl yesterday. Wow, she was reading by the pool, no headphones, just everything about her was well composed. And then at night, she was wearing the $2,000 Balenciaga outfit and, champagne foam party down the block. And I was like, damn, so close. So close. And yet, when that comfort moment passes, do most people fall back into mindless brand supporting consumerism? Because it's such a good habit to feel? How do I convince her if she were to ask me? Which I've heard a million times before. On every vacation, at least one or two people come up to me and say, why are you smiling and so relaxed? Why do you sit around there all day long and do nothing? No book, no computer, phone is usually off. And the answer is I like comfort and contentment. I like to bathe in this moment because I don't have any responsibilities. And they look at me like I'm crazy or lazy or narcissistic or egotistic. Look at this guy. He doesn't have a care in the world. He doesn't care about the rest of the world. He won't take what he's saved and give it to others who need it, even though all those others have put themselves in that position by not preparing for the contingencies that came to their life. If you have ideas on how you would sell comfort to your past self or your present self, if you have ideas on how you would convince yourself tomorrow that a moment or an hour or a day or weekend or week of just basking in your own contentment would be a good thing, I'd love to hear it in the comments down below, because I don't have an answer. I've looked at the hormonal expression of comfort and contentment. And I have yet to find out what it means. Because it doesn't seem like there is that biological reaction or that physical reaction. You could say meditation, blah, 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 blah. That's not it. Turn that idea off. Zilch. Don't want to hear about it. We'll discuss meditation another time. But if you have an idea, even if it's far-fetched, even if it's religious or spiritual or metaphysical, leave a comment below. Because this is something that I've been battling for a long time. Almost 7 years. Not on a daily basis, but I don't have an answer. And I'd like to formulate one. Comment below. Thanks for following. Thanks for your interactions. Thanks for your private messages and emails and your previous comments. I'm Adam Brian Dada, and this is the Lower Reward video series.